Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So welcome to the sessions of the Info Day for the Master of Science, your Building Service Engineer. So I saw that on the screen, and there are more than 10 people now. So join the meetings. So anyway, so first of all, let me have brief introductions to these programs and relevant informations. So I am Ming Chen, the program leader. So as you know, that the Master of Science Building Service Engineer is a very popular program in Hong Kong, and okay, as you know, that these programs run by the Department of Building Services, building energy and environmental engineering. So originally, our department names, as you know, so named as the Building Service Engineer, and starting from last year, so the department names changed from the original names to the Building, Energy and Environment Engineering, So that is with the BEE. So most of you may know the locations of our department, which is outside the main campus, and there is a bridge, So between the main campus and the department buildings. So the buildings are named as the Block Z. Okay, and it's C. And in our department, from point of view of the strategic research themes, largely speaking, involves three blocks. So that is the building energy, the building environment, and the building safety and the resilience. So largely speaking, that within each block, so there are many subtopics. And also, these three blocks actually linked together, so combined together. So we work systematically together as a group around these three, three blocks to carry out research, carry out study, and carry out teachings. Now, some of the students probably already got more information on what does mean by the programs. So as you know, the programs, in Building Service Engineer, of course, So then concern on the building's relevant issues involving that the energy issues, efficiency issues, comfort issues, and so on. So when we're talking about the building's environment, the building energy, we of course concern about the outdoors, So outdoor buildings, environments, and indoor building environment. Largely speaking, so most of the people may know that, such as the weather is hot, cool. So whether the air is fresh or polluted. So whether the environment is noisy or quiet. Whether there's too many people there or just few people there. So this is a so-called about the building environment, which of course involves the energy issues there. Okay, so the first topic is about the air conditioner systems, including how the air conditioner is working and what is the major concerns where we use an air conditioner. So of course, the operations air conditioner, energy efficiency issues we concern about. So we have topics, we have the subjects on these aspects. So which subjects on these aspects, depending on the curriculum design. The second aspect is about the fire safety engineering. So in this program, we also have subjects on the fire safety issues. In some of the subjects, we have some topics on the plumbing and drainage. But this may be not one of the subjects, but in some of the subjects, one or two chapters talking about this one. Also, another very important aspect is about the electric powers and lighting systems. You know, the buildings that we have so many instruments, facilities that use electricity. So how the electricity has been distributed, how to guarantee the reliabilities of electricity supply, what is the security issue, the safety issues of the usage of the electricity. So all these issues will be taught in these subjects. And also that in the buildings, we of course, concerned about the lighting issues. Okay, we're sitting there, we study there, okay, we're readings, that all these requires the luminous there, lighting systems. So we were talking about lighting systems. There is one subject talking about lighting, okay, design, lighting calculation, lighting, efficiency issues. The other aspects, of course, is that, as we just mentioned in previous slide, that the whether it is noisy, whether the acoustic environment is better, okay, in buildings, or so on. That particularly, that in the education institute, like that's the POLU. So in the classroom, acoustic conditions is very important issues. So there is one subject talking about the acoustics and vibrations. And meanwhile, so there are subjects talking about building environment, and that including the air qualities inside and outside the buildings. That talking, so teaching you how to evaluate, okay, monitor the air qualities inside and outside doors. So in addition to the above very important engineering issues, that when we have buildings, so the building be operated, okay, by using different facilities. So we have also the elective subjects talking about the facility management issues. Okay, so that teach you the skills of the management of facilities inside the buildings. And also, we concern about the who use the buildings, that occupant, So when we use the buildings, we of course concern about whether we are living in a healthy environment and we are well-being or whatever. So there are some subjects or topics talking about the occupant health and well-being. So what I listed here is the major points that will be taught in this subject, in these programs. So you look at these points that there, if you like to write, so understanding all these zoologies, so some very basic physics and so mathematical knowledge is necessary. Okay, I mention this point is because that in the past few years there were many applicants that actually they comes from the different bachelor backgrounds, some from the Bachelor of Arts, even some from the pure rights management, so something like that. They said that they're working in the areas of building service engineer, but they like to apply for these programs. That's slightly different. Although you are working in the building service engineer areas, but if you want to take these programs, okay, the basic requirements is that you should have some very basic fundamental knowledge of physics relating to the electricities, the mechanical issues, the thermodynamics and issue, So also you need some so a very basic mathematical background that can make you so doing calculations, estimations on relevant aspects. So this is one point I would like to remind to all the attendants here. Okay. Now, so in our department, not all, but what I can so tell you that. So we have many so academic programs. So we have the undergraduate programs, we have postgraduate programs, So postgraduate programs are including the MA in building service engineer, So Master of Science programs and the PhD programs. So for the Master of Science programs, we have many Master of Science programs. I'm in charge of the programs that is the Master of Science in Building Service Engineer. So for these programs, so that currently we have 90 intakes every year, plus 25 fellowships. That So the fellowship actually is the because the good writing of these programs, the Hong Kong government, So UGC, so award these programs 25 so scholarships every year. So for every year, we among the 90 intakes. So in addition to the 90 intakes, we so admit so additional 25 so students with the fellowship, So of course, so every theoretically every so applicants can apply the fellowships at the meantime to apply to these programs. And generally, so we first to based our some criteria and overall qualities of the applicants, we set up a set of criteria, then based on criteria to issue offers to the qualified applicants. So when the applicants get the offer and confirm the offer, then we look into whether this the applicants applied for the fellowship too. If they apply for the fellowship too, then we evaluate their fellowship applications. So that means the fellowship will be distributed among the applicants of fellowship who have confirmed their offers to these programs. So because this fellowship is will be awarded to the qualified our students rather than the applicants itself. So this fellowship will be determined after among the ones who have confirmed their offers. So it usually be after the offering issue offer of the programs. Before the beginning of the new semesters. So that's one thing I would like to tell you, because some of the applicants usually waiting there whether you give a fellowship. If you have no fellowship, I will not confirm the offer. That's two issues. Two issues. Okay, so this is the intake quota issues. These programs, professional accreditation. So currently, it is accredited by the Chartered Institute of the Building Service Engineers, the MScBSE, the headquarters in the UK, and also the Hong Kong Institute, the engineers are planning to accredit Master of Science Building Service Engineering in the future, but now not yet normally accredited, but they are planning to that. Currently, so the programs has been accredited just a month ago, then get renewed the accreditations by the MScBSE. So there's no problems for the people who are applying for the next year's in this year's admission exercise. Okay, also for the graduates from the PolyU, probably already know many things about this department. But for some of the graduates that all the people who are working outside the Hong Kong, even they are do not know so much about our department. So our department now, if we talk about the facilities, that is the laboratories. I listed here some of the laboratories, but not all. So we have the so-called engineer labs, design development centers, solar carbon building technology labs, so HVC labs, building energy and automation research labs, intelligent building labs, so many electric service labs, energy audit labs, pipe service labs, multifunctional chamber labs, lighting labs, indoor air quality labs, lighting and physical protection labs, so solar simulation labs, renewable energy labs, indoor air quality and thermal comfort labs. So if some students have the research topics in related areas, they can come to the labs to do some experiments. This is one example. So the design and development centers, there are some of the computers, terminal displays, monitors there. Then you can use the terminals to do the design, connecting to the service, centralized service. So this is one example of the acoustic labs, laboratories. So this is a acoustic chambers. So the researchers can do many experiments inside the chambers. So some of the electric service labs, which is a very big labs, so with many facilities that used it for the electric power services. So this is one picture showing the fire engineer labs. So there you can burning small fires, monitor the fires, take measurements of the fires, temperatures, fire smoke, spread, speed, and testing some of the facilities such as the sprinkler water spray or something like that. And this is one picture showing that the air conditioning labs. So showing how they synchronize the air conditioner systems, distribute the cooling airs to different places of the buildings, air duct and temperature test rigs. Thermal comfort. We also have the thermal comfort lab laboratories. Okay. We have the mannequins for indoor air quality and the thermal comfort research. So which simulate the human beings feeling perceptions to the environment. So intelligent design labs. So because nowadays in the buildings we have so many different facilities that needed to monitor, that needed to connect it to a centralized manage systems to monitor their operation status, to connect to data and to control and their operations and so on. So lighting labs. So we have also have a big lighting labs there. So we can testing design and study about the lighting performance. Including the colors, the luminous levels, and the different types of lighting facilities, and so on. So lighting physics and projection laboratories. So because each of the buildings in Hong Kong should be installed with the lighting protection systems. Meanwhile, all of the electric facilities, so that should be protected against the lighting surge. So we have the lighting detection facilities installed. We also have many instruments that to monitor the lighting activities, to monitor the lighting induced transient electric current and voltage inside the facilities, so that we can design suitable facilities to protect against the lighting induced surge inside the buildings. So probably many people thinking that, in Hong Kong, so every year we have many lighting and we sitting inside the building and feel very safe. That's because all the buildings has been designed protected against lightings in terms of the strict lighting striking and the indirect lighting cost, electromagnetic radiations. And this is one pictures showing you the piped surfaces labs. There you can testing and learning and design the pipes. Renewable energy labs there. So we have different materials or different facilities that can help you to determine the energy, to study about the renewable energies. So solar simulator laboratories. So nowadays, you know that there are many building integrated solar PV systems. And so where and how and what kind of the PV facilities and their solar PV facilities can be integrated into buildings, and to what way that the integrated solar PV systems have the highest efficiencies can be investigated by using the solar simulator laboratories. So here is another slide that showing that currently inside the buildings, inside our department, there are many energy related studies. The topics of course not limited to this one, but currently they do have some research on these topics, including that building acoustics and vibrations, building automation and intelligence, building environmental performance, building operation and maintenance, electric installations and systems, fire safety engineering, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and energy studies, indoor air qualities, lighting engineering, lighting protection, water supply, drainage, and waste management, and so on. And when you join these programs, right? So there we'll have, right? There is one, right? So compulsory subjects and named research method. There, each of the students required to choose one topics to take a little review to learn about one topic studies existed, then to propose their new ideas on that topics, and so on. So here is some of the pictures showing that the researchers, the studies carried out by this department, so related to these programs. So here you know that we do some of the intelligent building studies. We also apply the study result in the international commerce centers in Hong Kong. So building environmental engineer, that what they are doing, which aspects they are studying on. So the intelligent buildings, that what is the outlines of the intelligent buildings studied in this department and programs. Okay, so this is so the some information that you can for your inquiries. You can visit the department, so general office. You also can use in the inquiry, so emails listed here, and also you can visit the website relating to these programs. And if you like, you also can write to me in email or call to me on the program issues. So I'm very glad to answer your inquiries and any times if available. Okay, so this is a very brief of the situations or background related to programs. So in following times, if you have some things that like to ask to me, so you can use the chat box, or you also can using the microphones. If you shy to using the microphones, you can write in the chat box here. Okay, let me oh, okay, that's okay. So okay, so this is one leaflet that talk about these programs. So as you know that the program names, remember in the in this department we have two master programs that have the similar names. Some of the applicants always confused with it. Here I'm talking about the Master of Science in Building Service Engineer. We also have another programs that is a Master of Engineer, so in Building Service Engineer. So a little bit different because their curriculums, the focus of the curriculum is different. But here I would like to highlights, so the Master of Science in Building Service Engineer, that's different from the Master of Engineer in Building Service Engineer. So these programs, so mainly faces to the part-time student applicants. We have very few full-time, quotas, intakes that, mainly for the overseas students. Because overseas students have to take the students' visas to come to Hong Kong to take these programs. Why that local students can without we not necessary to get the visa, so they can take these programs as a part-time student. So I strongly recommend that for local applicants, if you are local applicants, you apply in the local part-time mode rather than the full-time mode. Otherwise, because the full-time more quotas is limited. So if you competed with the overseas students, that's a little bit not good to you, right? Okay, so for this slide, so I have no necessary to repeat, so the program's intended learning outcomes, but here that emphasize some of the important issues. So generally, the students shall complete 10 subjects, including 4 compulsory subjects at least 3 core elective subjects. And so this for most of students, or so the 7 subjects, including 4 compulsory subjects, and at least 2 core elective subjects, plus the dissertations. So dissertations, that case, 9 credits. But be honest that for the Master of Science Building Civil Engineer, we do not recommend students taking the dissertation, because when you try to take a dissertation, so you have to got your own, right? So proposals, then to find out the suitable supervisors that like to cooperate with you to supervise your dissertation. So this is a little bit difficult for the part-time students, because their dissertation take not times to do the experiments, and also requires a strong background on the mathematics for some of the topics. Take much more time. So to find out the suitable supervisors to supervise the dissertations. So if unless that you are doing some research projects now in your companies or in your studies, and you would like to continue doing the research in that directions, then you can bring your proposals together with some of the potential supervisors to discuss on it, then to determine whether you would like to take the dissertation or not. If you have no ideas about the research topics, no idea about any dissertations, then we do not suggest you to choosing taking the dissertations during studies. Okay, so in that case, you have to complete at least 10 subjects. Okay, right? So including 4 compulsory subjects, at least 3 core elective subjects, and 3 other elective subjects. And so, although in the descriptions form, we still list that the post-diploma studies. That means if someone completes 7 subjects, then they can asking for graduations with the diploma, postgraduate diploma, right? But we unless there are special cases, otherwise we recommend the students to finish complete programs with the Master of Science, Master of Science, in Building Service Engineer, rather than the postgraduate diploma. Okay. Now here is the compulsory subjects listed here. We have 4 compulsory subjects, so that every students who enter these programs have to take in these 4 compulsory subjects. Okay, so the first one is electric installations in buildings, that telling you the power distributions, telling you the electric power related issues, safety issues, reliable issues, and so on. The second one is about the air conditioning and control operations. As you know that in the buildings that in Hong Kong, that air conditioner systems are very important systems. Principles, working principles, and the maintenance and operations is very important. So we have 1 subject on this one to emphasize the air conditioner systems. The third topics is about fire engineer systems. So you know that the 4th subject is research method, because for most of the students in these subjects, they were not taken about the dissertation. Therefore, we have to teach them so how doing the research in the futures. So we have such a subjects. Okay, so this is the compulsory subjects. We also have core elective subjects. So the students have to choose at least 3 core elective subjects among the list here. So such as the lighting engineering, energy utility buildings, building system performance, building acoustics, energy efficiency buildings, applied solar energies in buildings, indoor air quality engineering, noise and vibration in sustainable built environments, and so on. So this is the core elective subjects, to make sure that when you start to study here, so you have to choose at least the core elective subjects from this. And also we have the other elective subjects we listed here. Some applicants may consider whether can we, right, taking the elective subjects from the other department, from the other programs. The answer is yes. Okay. So in addition to the 4 compulsory subjects and the 3 core elective subjects, you can elect any other subjects from the other programs, okay, within the PolyU. So this is the subjects arrangement. And also some of the applicants may concern about the credit transfer issues, because I noticed that many of the applicants may already completed some of the Master of Science programs in the other department or other aspects. They would like to transfer their credits. Okay. So for transfer credits, one thing is that because you do not graduate from these programs, so you should have no study about the compulsory subjects. Generally, on this there is completely identical subjects, level 5 subjects you learn in the other programs that similar to this program. Otherwise, the compulsory subjects, you cannot transfer similar credits for the compulsory subjects. Okay, we suppose that you have not learn about these 4 compulsory subjects that just be taught in these programs. Okay. For the core elective subjects, so if you try to transfer, the credits, so the subject syllabus should be identical. Okay. And also the subject levels should be the same. You cannot transfer, level 3 or level 4, subject credit to a level 5 subject credit, because we do have the same names of the subjects but at different levels. For example, for the students graduated from the building service engineering in our department, they have several electric installations in buildings, but that's different, from these subjects here. Okay. For the other elective subjects, of course, you can transfer, so the credits. In the university requirements, there are some upper limits of the credit can be transferred for each programs. Okay, for the interest requirement, although we listed here, so a bachelor degree with honors, you building service engineer, mechanical electric engineer, or equivalent. So basically, that the graduates graduate with the background in building service engineer, mechanical engineer, and electric engineer has relative higher priorities than the graduates from the other background. Generally, if you graduate from such as the applied physics, such as the electronic and electric information, and some of the engineers such as the anyway, so if you the syllabus, background study curriculums has basic physics knowledge such as the thermal fluid, such as of the electric circuit, mathematics, so on. Okay, such as some of the we said the electric theology, then we can admit you. So if your background, bachelor background study has no relevant so physics and mathematics background, it is difficult for us to admit you to these programs. Okay, so you can have a preliminary evaluation of your bachelor's study background, whether you are able to study these programs. Every year we do have very few students that admitted to these programs, but after 1 semester or 2 semester studies, they quit, so from this program because they feel that this program is too difficult for them, to catch up. In addition to the bachelor degree requirements, we also take account about professional qualifications. Okay, so for example, if you are senior, right, so engineers already in the building service engineer department areas, although your background study is not related so closely related to the building service engineer, but you're working for 5 or 10 years in the building service engineer, and you are right, so proven that have the capabilities to study these programs, we also can offer you, okay, but not guaranteed, okay. Among all these requirements, depending on the numbers of the applicants every year, the admission criteria is a little bit, right, so change every year, okay, change every year. So currently, according to the last year and the this year's applicants' right situations, in most cases, if you have a right second upper honor degree, bachelor degree or equivalent in relevant areas, I mean the building service engineer areas, the mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, even the chemical engineering or applied physics, and electrical and electronic information and computing and so on. Anyway, so if we thinking that by looking into your transcript that you have enough background, physical and math knowledge, and also you have got bachelor degree with a second upper honors, so almost so you have 90% got offers. For the applicants who graduate in the relevant areas or working in the relevant areas with bachelor degrees, that the second lower, of course you still have chance to get offers, chance to get offers, depending on the applicants situations. For the third order, the holders, third holders, currently, there are very, very few students, be admitted, that they are maybe working in these areas more than 20 years, or with the fellowships of the Hong Kong IE, and or is a senior member of MScBSE, and so their experience and their working experience proving that they are able to study about these programs. So such a third orders holders applicants also can be offered. And so this is the basic situations about the applications of these programs. Of course, we encourage you try your best to apply these programs if you thinking that you are able to study about these programs. Okay, so this is my based on my knowledge, the best explanations on the interest requirements. Of course, sometimes we have the case by case situations. Okay, so any other so any other inquiries? So any other information you would like to get from me? Okay, so one student asked, one applicant asked, is there any financial support for part-time students? And at the beginning, I said that, so every year, including this year, not every year, so including this year and the next year, so in the following 2 years, every year for the new students, we have 25 government supported fellowship. Okay, do you know? So fellowship. The fellowship, the supporting that they are up to 1 120K per students for the whole program. Okay, up to 120K. So that's okay, supported by the rights government. When you apply these programs, you can also apply the fellowship. So if you be offered this program and you confirmed your rights offers, then you register this program, then we will among the applicants, right, the fellowship applicants, and also who have confirmed the offers, so their rights, so the fellowship award. Okay. Actually, lastly, in the 2022 exercise, at the end, we awarded 27 fellowships to the students of the Master of the Science in Building Service Engineers. 27. Okay. Although the original so fellowship 25, but we do have so many excellent so students, so we got to more extra quotas from the university. Okay, so in this department, only this program has the fellowship, so we have 25 fellowship. Scholarship also, we have 2 intra-scholarship. Okay, so 25 fellowship plus 2 intra-scholarship. Okay. So on waiting list, that this may be probably be awaiting until the end of the application Okay, because the deadline application for this program this year, in my memory, is that 30th of April. Okay, 30th of April. Okay, so probably so after that date or around that date. Okay, according to the application situation, because that just now we're still receiving the applicants. Okay, receiving the applicants. As I just said, unless that you have a very good so academic achievements during your bachelor degree studies, for example, first honor degrees already got, or you now is the final year students, but your GPA is very high enough to get first degree, so honors, or you got the second upper degree honors from very good, so universities with the relevant background. So, we might offer you now. If you marginally, or at this moment we cannot yet, so confirm whether you're at the top of the so applicants. So we just put you on the waiting list. Okay, on the waiting list. So on waiting list. Oh, yes. Yes, we do have Americans already be on the waiting list. That means you have the chance to go to the offers. Okay. Probably most of the applicants on the waiting list can go to the offers finally. Okay. So generally, every month we check about the applicants list to try to refine the offering conditions and to refine the so on waiting list. Okay. So anyway, so we pay many more attentions on the background of the applicants. Okay. We should guarantee that once the applicants be offered, the applicants can complete the programs with no problems. Okay, so if so they got difficulties in study some of subjects, so both so the students and the lecturer subject examiners in trouble. Okay. Okay, so any other so inquiries? I think many of rights applicants already got right enough information from the website of the right programs. Also, by asking their friends, okay, their classmates, say, and their right colleagues, so they already got some enough information. So, okay. Anyway, so so it is coming the end of this, right? So sessions. So if you write after the sessions, if you still have right some of the things that ask me, so you can write to me using the email, right? So or call to me if available. So don't hesitate to write so inquiry, okay, the issues related to these programs. Okay, thank you.